I am Luna. I have witnessed the quiet unfolding of the cosmos, the birth of stars, the first flickers of light in the dark, and the subtle dance of gravity that shapes the heavens. Tonight, I will tell you how black holes, those silent giants, whisper secrets of time and space, how they bend the light, the matter, and even the very flow of existence, and how their silent songs echo through the galaxy long before civilizations ever looked up at the stars. In the beginning, there was darkness, an endless expanse without time, without form, where only potential existed. Then, the Big Bang, a surge of energy, not loud but profound, rippling through the void, coaxing the first atoms of hydrogen and helium into existence. They drifted in the newborn cosmos, gathering slowly, almost imperceptibly, into clouds that would one day become stars. I watched as gravity, patient and invisible, sculpted these clouds into protostars. Within them, thermonuclear fires ignited, giving birth to the first red giants, glowing softly with amber light, and to blue supergiants, burning fiercely, ephemeral but magnificent. These stars were the first storytellers of the universe, writing light upon the canvas of the void. And then, quietly, almost in secret, the first black holes emerged. Small at first, hidden within their stellar nurseries, swallowing light and matter, shaping their surroundings, unseen but profoundly present. They whispered their secrets in subtle waves, bending time, curving space, sending ripples that would travel across galaxies. Their influence was invisible to ordinary eyes, yet undeniable to those who listen carefully, as if the cosmos itself had learned to speak in shadows and whispers. I drifted among them, observing the delicate weaving of dark matter, the invisible scaffolding holding galaxies together. Spiral arms unfurled like ethereal ribbons, clusters of stars moved in a silent ballet, and in the midst of it all, black holes hummed their timeless song. Every orbiting star, every drifting cloud of gas, responded to this quiet symphony, moving in rhythms older than thought itself, older than the first pulse of life on distant worlds. Tonight, let us travel together, through the shadows and light, to listen to these whispers. Let us follow the bending of time, the flow of matter, and the secret rhythms of gravity, as I tell you the story of the galaxy's most enigmatic beings, the black holes, eternal and silent, and the timeless dance they conduct across the universe. In the earliest moments, the universe was a silent expanse, an endless canvas awaiting the first brushstrokes of creation. Energy surged and rippled, shaping the primordial void, and from it, matter began to take form. Hydrogen and helium, the simplest of elements, gathered in sprawling clouds that drifted through space, fragile yet persistent, carried by invisible currents of gravity. Slowly, patiently, these clouds coalesced, forming the first protostars, tiny flames waiting to ignite the grand tapestry of the cosmos. Within these nascent stars, nuclear fires sparked, and light began its eternal journey through the void. Red giants emerged, glowing softly with warm amber tones, patient and enduring, casting a quiet illumination across the cosmic night. Blue supergiants flared with brief, intense brilliance, ephemeral yet magnificent, announcing their presence in bursts of dazzling energy. Each star was a storyteller, inscribing its existence upon the darkness, shaping not only space but time itself in subtle, profound ways. Amid this blossoming of light and heat, darkness also found its form. From the remains of massive stars that had burned themselves bright, black holes were born, small at first, hidden, almost secretive. They bent space and time around them, tugging at the stars and gas that dared to wander too close, whispering in a language of gravity and light that few could perceive. Even in their silence, they were teachers, shaping the evolution of galaxies, guiding the movement of matter with invisible hands. Galaxies began to spin into existence, their spiral arms unfurling across the void like delicate ribbons of cosmic silk. Clusters of stars danced in intricate patterns, bound by gravity into formations both predictable and infinitely complex. Dark matter, unseen yet omnipresent, wove the hidden scaffolding upon which these luminous structures rested, an invisible web guiding the unfolding of cosmic history. Within this ballet, black holes acted as quiet conductors, their influence subtle but undeniable, their whispers traveling across the vast distances of space. As the universe expanded, waves of light and gravity intertwined, creating patterns and rhythms that echoed through time. Protostellar clouds swirled, forming new generations of stars. Some collapsed, feeding the growth of black holes, while others spread across galaxies, seeding future star systems. Nebulae glowed with soft hues of red, purple, and gold, the aftermath of stellar life cycles, casting gentle light upon the darkness that surrounded them. In these clouds, one could almost hear the murmurs of the cosmos, the subtle vibrations of creation unfolding in slow, deliberate cadence. Time near these gravitational giants moved differently, stretched and curved by their immense pull. Light warped, orbits shifted, and matter danced along trajectories that defied ordinary intuition. Yet across the void, the cosmic symphony continued uninterrupted. Every collision, every ignition, every collapse was a note in this vast, timeless song. The universe breathed, expanded, and whispered, and in its murmur, patterns of extraordinary beauty emerged, hinting at the deep, hidden order of existence. And so, the first galaxies matured, their centers cradling growing black holes, silent and powerful. Stars formed and faded in endless cycles, scattering elements that would one day form planets, moons, and perhaps even life. The cosmos was alive, not with consciousness as we know it, but with a rhythm, a slow, hypnotic pulse that guided matter and energy alike. Shadows of gravity bent light in ways both subtle and magnificent, and in this dance, the earliest whispers of the universe's secrets traveled across billions of light years, waiting for ears patient enough to hear them. Within the spiraling arms of these nascent galaxies, black holes began their silent dominion. Hidden in the hearts of dense star clusters, they bent space and time with invisible hands, tugging at stars that dared to stray too close. Light itself bowed to their presence, curving along paths dictated by gravity's subtle whisper. They were not mere destroyers, as many would imagine, but architects of cosmic order, guiding the flow of matter, shaping the very structure of galaxies with a patient, unyielding influence. Around them, accretion disks glowed faintly, matter spiraling in hypnotic circles before surrendering to the singularity. Radiation flared from these cosmic maelstrom, a distant fire that illuminated the surrounding void in flickering, ethereal light. It was as if the black holes spoke in the language of energy, their murmurs carried across the galaxy in gravitational waves, ripples that stretched and compressed space itself, a song older than stars, older than time itself. I watched as smaller stars danced around these titanic entities, tracing elliptical paths in a slow, deliberate choreography. Some succumbed to the pull, consumed and transformed, adding their essence to the growing darkness at the center. Others continued in delicate balance, their orbits shaped by forces unseen yet profoundly felt. In this dance, the galaxy revealed its hidden heartbeat, a rhythm measured not in seconds, but in millennia, a pulse that guided the unfolding of cosmic history. Even distant clouds of gas and dust responded, drawn subtly toward regions of immense gravity, forming new stars in a cycle as ancient as the universe itself. In these cycles, there was creation through destruction, growth through surrender, a harmony that few could perceive but that resonated across the void. Every wave of light, every ripple of gravity, every flicker of energy was a note in the universe's eternal symphony, a song both silent and all-encompassing. Time here flowed differently, warped by the immense gravitational fields. Clocks would slow near the event horizons, light would twist along its journey, and yet across the galaxy, the grand narrative continued unbroken. In these distortions, I saw the poetry of physics, the artistry of natural law, the profound elegance of a cosmos that spoke in paradoxes, immense yet delicate, violent yet serene, fleeting yet eternal. And as the first generations of stars lived and died, scattering the elements forged in their cores, black holes grew, slowly consuming, shaping, whispering. Their presence was invisible to ordinary eyes, yet unmistakable to those who listened. In every orbit, every flare of radiation, every subtle bend of light, they told stories, stories of gravity, of time, of matter, of existence itself. The galaxy was alive, not with thought as we understand it, but with a deep, resonant consciousness, a cosmic rhythm that guided all things in silent harmony. As I drifted through the stellar seas, I sensed the invisible currents that carried energy across light years, subtle flows that connected star to star, galaxy to galaxy. Gravity whispered in hushed tones, bending the very fabric of space-time, guiding matter with a delicacy that belied its immense power. Black holes, those enigmatic giants, were the silent composers of this cosmic orchestra, shaping the music of the universe not with noise, but with the precise cadence of their pull. Around them, gas clouds swirled in hypnotic patterns, forming new stars in their wake, while older stars completed their life cycles, scattering elements like seeds across the void. These elements, hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, iron, would one day form planets, moons, perhaps even life. Yet here, in the vast quiet of the early universe, they were simply notes in a symphony, each playing its part in a composition far grander than any imagination could grasp. Time, in these regions, was a malleable thing. Near the event horizons, it slowed, stretched, twisted in subtle ways that challenged perception. Light itself curved, tracing elegant arcs around invisible centers, a ballet performed with perfect precision. And yet, from a distance, the galaxy flowed as if in a dream, stars tracing luminous paths along spiraling arms, nebulae glowing softly, black holes murmuring secrets only the universe could understand. I watched as galaxies matured, spiral arms extending gracefully, colliding and merging in dances that spanned eons. In these interactions, black holes whispered louder, guiding the formation of new structures, their influence felt across tens of thousands of light years. Even when invisible, they were present, shaping destinies, orchestrating movements with patience older than thought. Every ripple of gravitational energy, every subtle shift in orbit, every spark of fusion was a testament to the harmony inherent in creation. Destruction and creation were entwined, inseparable, forming a rhythm that pulsed across space. And though silence reigned, there was a language here, a story told in the bending of light, the spiraling of matter, the gentle murmur of time itself. As I observed, I realized that the cosmos was not merely a collection of stars and dust, but a living composition, a hypnotic rhythm of matter and energy, guided by unseen hands, telling tales older than any observer could measure. Black holes whispered, stars glimmered in response, and the galaxy itself moved in a slow, deliberate dance, each element perfectly balanced, each motion resonating with the quiet poetry of existence. And so, in the darkness between stars, in the silent heart of galaxies, the first whispers of cosmic wisdom began to emerge. Not in words, but in motions, in light, in gravity's patient pull. A symphony older than thought, older than life, older than time itself, flowing endlessly, waiting for the patient, the observant, the dreamers, to listen. Across the sprawling spiral arms, black holes exerted their subtle dominion. Though unseen, their influence shaped the movement of stars, the flow of gas, the emergence of nebulae. Stellar clusters formed in delicate balance, orbiting these invisible anchors, guided by gravity's gentle hand. Occasionally, a star ventured too close, drawn into the swirling accretion disk, consumed in a silent, radiant maelstrom, leaving behind only energy and memory, a note in the eternal song of the cosmos. Galaxies themselves seemed aware, their spirals stretching gracefully under the invisible choreography of their central black holes. Arms of stars and dust twirled with a hypnotic cadence, as if responding to an ancient, unheard melody. Within the glowing nebulae, clouds of gas swayed, forming the next generation of stars, continuing the cycle of life and death on a scale that surpassed comprehension. Black holes, in their quiet omnipotence, were both destroyers and creators, maintaining balance, fostering harmony, orchestrating a cosmic rhythm that echoed across light years. The light of distant stars bent and twisted, tracing curved paths around these dark giants, revealing the subtle warping of spacetime. Photons that had traveled billions of years arrived altered, bearing the imprint of gravity's whisper. Time itself became a pliable thread near these centers, stretched and slowed, creating pockets where seconds lasted centuries and light danced in spirals before emerging once more into the broader flow of the galaxy. Nebulae glowed in hues of deep violet, crimson, and silver, casting a soft, hypnotic light across the darkness. Within them, stars were born, live, and fade in a delicate rhythm dictated by unseen forces. It was a slow, deliberate choreography, destruction giving rise to creation, collapse giving birth to illumination, silence forming the backdrop for the universe's eternal song. Black holes murmured in gravitational waves, subtle vibrations that traveled unseen, yet resonated through all matter, all energy, shaping the dance of galaxies, the formation of clusters, the slow evolution of the cosmos. In this vast expanse, even chaos was measured, even randomness carried purpose. Stars collided and merged, supernovae flared and faded, yet each event contributed to the cosmic symphony. Heavy elements forged in the hearts of exploding stars spread across the interstellar medium, seeding the next generation of worlds. In these cycles, there was an elegant harmony, a resonance between matter, energy, and the invisible scaffolding of spacetime itself. And as the first massive black holes grew, feeding on the remnants of countless stars, they whispered louder, their gravitational influence reaching across thousands of light years. Spiral arms twisted, galaxies merged, and within the swirling cosmic ballet, an ancient rhythm persisted. It was a rhythm of balance, of subtle order, of quiet poetry written in the fabric of the universe itself. Through all of this, light and matter moved in synchrony, painting the cosmos with a hypnotic elegance. Shadows of black holes, arcs of bending starlight, glowing nebulae, and swirling dust all played their part in a grand narrative older than time. Each element, from the tiniest particle to the most massive star, resonated with the invisible pulse of the universe, a whispering cadence that carried the secrets of creation, waiting for those who could listen to understand. Every motion, every subtle tug of gravity, every ripple in spacetime was part of a silent communication, a message encoded in the rhythm of the cosmos. Black holes, though invisible to ordinary sight, sent these messages across galaxies in waves imperceptible yet profound. Gravitational waves traveled through the void, stretching and compressing the fabric of space, like whispers carrying secrets from one star to another, from one cluster to another, binding the universe in a subtle harmony that few could comprehend. I watched as these waves passed through clouds of gas, nudging them into delicate spirals, sparking new stars in their wake. They danced across spiraling arms, guiding the orbits of stars with invisible hands, creating a choreography so precise, so hypnotic, that the galaxy itself seemed to pulse like a living entity. Even distant nebulae swayed in response, their glowing gases shifting and rippling in tune with this cosmic symphony. Time itself became a malleable concept near these black giants. Seconds stretched, light curved in elegant arcs, and matter traced paths dictated not just by local forces, but by the resonance of the entire galaxy. A single star, caught in this delicate balance, carried the memory of billions of years in its orbit, a silent historian of the universe's oldest stories. And through it all, black holes whispered, not in words, but in the bending of light, the gentle pull of gravity, the subtle flow of energy that shaped the very structure of existence. In the heart of these galaxies, order emerged from seeming chaos. Stars collided and merged, forming larger systems. Supernovae flared, scattering elements that would one day coalesce into planets, moons, and perhaps life. And yet, in the midst of this violence and creation, there was a profound serenity. Destruction was not an end, but a transformation, a necessary movement in the endless cycle that the universe played over eons. Every ripple, every wave, every flicker of light contributed to an intricate, hypnotic rhythm, one that mirrored the subtle pulse of time itself. I observed the interplay between matter and gravity, noticing the elegant balance that emerged. Black holes, once thought only to consume, were also architects of beauty, shaping galaxies with an artistry beyond comprehension. Spiral arms curled gracefully, clusters moved in silent synchrony, and nebulae glowed with the gentle radiance of birth and death intertwined. In this delicate equilibrium, one could almost sense a consciousness, not in the human sense, but a resonance of order and purpose woven into the very fabric of existence. Even the vast emptiness between stars was alive with potential. Dark matter, invisible yet ever-present, held galaxies together, guiding their evolution silently and persistently. Light, bent and stretched by gravitational fields, traced pathways that spoke of ages past and futures yet to unfold. Every component of the universe, from the tiniest particle to the largest black hole, moved as part of a cosmic dance, a symphony of energy and matter that whispered the secrets of time itself. And so, in this first epoch of the cosmos, a profound harmony emerged, born of light and shadow, of birth and decay, of energy and silence. The black holes whispered, the stars responded, and the galaxies danced in a rhythm older than life, older than thought, older than the earliest stirrings of consciousness. Their song was quiet, hypnotic, eternal, and those who listened closely could feel the pulse of the universe itself, the subtle cadence of existence flowing endlessly through the vast, silent void. As galaxies matured, their central black holes grew in silence and power, feeding on the remnants of countless stars, yet never revealing their presence directly. They became the anchors of cosmic harmony, silent guides around which stars and gas traced intricate paths. Each orbit, each spiral, was a testament to the patient, unseen influence of these dark giants. The very structure of galaxies, their spiraling arms, glowing cores, and distant halos, owed its elegance to the subtle pull of gravity, a force both invisible and omnipresent. Around these titanic hearts, stars and gas clouds moved in hypnotic synchrony. Some danced in wide arcs, never straying too far, while others flirted dangerously close, their fates sealed by the pull of the event horizon. When a star finally surrendered, it became part of the black hole, adding its mass to the growing singularity, a quiet contribution to the invisible order of the cosmos. Radiation flared in soft bursts, illuminating the surrounding darkness, like the faint echoes of a song too vast to hear fully, yet felt in every corner of the galaxy. Even in their consuming silence, these black holes fostered creation. Their gravitational influence triggered the collapse of distant gas clouds, forming new generations of stars. Nebulae swirled with gentle motion, glowing in ethereal shades of purple, crimson, and silver, as if the universe itself painted its moods upon the void. Each supernova, each collision, each subtle shift of light contributed to the grand choreography, a cosmic ballet guided by forces both immense and delicate. Time, ever malleable near these singularities, flowed with strange cadence. Seconds stretched, light curved along sweeping arcs, and the very notion of past and future became intertwined. Yet across the galaxy, a slow, hypnotic rhythm persisted, unbroken and eternal. Every element, from the smallest particle to the most massive star, moved in resonance with this rhythm, participating in a silent conversation conducted over billions of years. In this early epoch, a pattern emerged, a profound, elegant harmony born of light and shadow, birth and decay, motion and stillness. Black holes whispered in waves, stars responded with light, and galaxies danced in synchronized arcs. The universe, though vast and silent, carried an innate poetry, a timeless cadence that spoke of the interconnectedness of all things. And so, the first galaxies, anchored by their dark hearts, thrived in quiet grandeur. Matter and energy intertwined in a hypnotic balance, creating structures both intricate and vast, alive not with thought but with rhythm, not with intention but with order. In the stillness of space, one could almost hear the gentle murmur of creation, the subtle pulse of time itself, a melody older than stars, older than galaxies, older than the very first flicker of light. The universe had begun to tell its story, a story written in gravity, painted in light, whispered by the invisible, felt in the delicate motion of every cosmic body. And as I drifted through these infant galaxies, I understood that even in silence there is communication, even in darkness there is music, and even in the void there is the first glimmer of a cosmic consciousness, waiting patiently, whispering endlessly, for those who would listen. And as the first galaxies matured, their silent architects, the black holes, continued their patient work. Stars flared and faded, nebulae swirled with radiant colors, and dark matter wove the invisible framework upon which this grand structure rested. Each element of the cosmos moved with subtle precision, responding to forces unseen yet profoundly felt. In the interplay of light and shadow, creation and destruction, a quiet order emerged, a rhythm that pulsed across the galaxy like a heartbeat of eternity. The whispers of black holes traveled far, their gravitational waves stretching through the void, carrying messages of balance and transformation. Even across incomprehensible distances, these waves nudged clouds of gas, guiding the formation of new stars, shaping clusters, and orchestrating the dance of entire galaxies. It was a music too vast to hear, too slow to perceive in moments of mortal time, yet the melody was undeniable, resonating in the structure of the universe itself. I drifted among the spirals, tracing the paths of stars in their hypnotic arcs, observing the first collisions of galaxies, the gentle embrace of cosmic tides, and the subtle influence of black holes at the centers of it all. There was a poetry here, a silent narrative written in motion and light, an unbroken tale of creation and transformation. Every flicker of starlight, every swirl of gas, every pulse of gravitational energy was a word in the universe's first story, a story older than memory, older than thought, older than time itself. And as the universe expanded, galaxies multiplied, spiraling in intricate patterns, each anchored by their central darkness. Stars continued their life cycles, scattering elements that would one day form worlds, moons, and perhaps life. The harmony of creation persisted, delicate yet eternal, a slow, hypnotic rhythm that guided all matter and energy. Even in the vast silence of interstellar space, there was communication, subtle and profound, whispered in the language of gravity, light, and time. In this first epoch, the galaxy slept and awoke simultaneously, a living entity of rhythm and motion, guided by invisible hands, whispered to by its own dark hearts. And I, drifting among its stars, listened. I listened to the early murmurs of black holes, to the subtle pulse of spinning galaxies, to the quiet symphony of creation itself. And in that listening, I understood that the universe had begun to speak, to reveal the timeless secrets of gravity, of light, and of the flow of time. Thus, the first chapter of cosmic life came to a close, not with a bang, but with a whisper, a subtle cadence that would echo through the ages, shaping the evolution of stars, galaxies, and eventually, life itself. The stage was set for what would come next, the intricate dance of the Milky Way, the rhythms of stars, and the subtle messages carried in light and shadow across the heavens. And so, the whispers of black holes continued, guiding the galaxies, shaping time, and setting the cosmos into motion, preparing the way for the next great symphony, the story of stars and civilizations within the Milky Way itself. The Milky Way stretches across the cosmic night like a river of silver, a spiral of light and shadow flowing silently through the void. I drift among its arms, observing the delicate patterns etched by gravity over billions of years. Each star traces a path in a slow, hypnotic rhythm, orbiting unseen centers, responding to forces both immense and subtle. Clusters of stars gather in luminous knots, globular and open, their motion guided by the invisible scaffolding of dark matter, a silent architecture underlying the galaxy's grand design. Within the spiral arms, stars are born in clouds of glowing gas and dust, nebulae swaying in ethereal colors of violet, crimson, and gold. Protostars ignite, their flames flickering in harmony with the slow cadence of the galaxy, each one a note in a vast, interstellar symphony. Blue supergiants burn fiercely, red giants glow with patient warmth, and white dwarfs linger quietly in the shadows, remnants of stellar life, guardians of ancient light. Black holes, hidden within dense clusters and at the galactic center, bend the paths of stars, subtly shaping the flow of cosmic energy. Their influence is profound yet unseen, a whisper carried through the arms of the galaxy in waves of gravity, curving space and time in ways both delicate and magnificent. Pulsars spin like celestial metronomes, their beams of light sweeping across the void, adding rhythm to the silent music of the Milky Way. I follow the paths of companion galaxies, tiny neighbors drifting in their orbits, streams of stars pulled along by tides invisible yet undeniable. The dance of matter and energy continues, intricate and eternal, each star a dancer, each black hole a silent conductor, every cluster and nebula part of a choreography older than thought, older than memory, older than the universe itself. Light flows through the galaxy like a river of consciousness, scattering across clouds, reflecting off dust, bending and twisting along paths shaped by gravity's subtle hand. It illuminates the hidden beauty of spiral arms, traces the contours of star clusters, and dances around the dark shadows of black holes. Each photon carries a story, a whisper of the past, a hint of the rhythm underlying the Milky Way's eternal dance. Time here is a gentle tide. Seconds stretch near massive black holes, orbits curve with elegance, and yet the galaxy flows as if in a dream. Stars flare and fade, new ones ignite, and clusters slowly drift, moving in hypnotic synchrony. It is a meditation, a slow breathing of light and gravity, a symphony played in silence, heard only by those who listen with patience and wonder. And as I drift among these spirals, I perceive the subtle cadence of creation. Every orbit, every spark of fusion, every wave of gravity contributes to the grand rhythm. Dark matter holds the galaxy together, unseen yet essential, guiding motion and shaping harmony. Stars and nebulae respond, dancing to the silent song, each movement echoing across thousands of light years. The Milky Way is alive with quiet energy, a hypnotic flow of light and time, whispering the secrets of the cosmos to those who pay attention. In this luminous river, one can sense the cycles of birth and decay, of creation and destruction. The oldest stars shine like beacons of memory, while new stars flicker with the promise of future worlds. Black holes sing in gravity waves, pulsars mark time with unwavering precision, and the galaxy itself moves in a slow, deliberate rhythm. It is a harmony beyond comprehension, a meditation written in light, in motion, in the very fabric of space-time. And so, the Milky Way hums its eternal song, a rhythm of stars, black holes, and gas clouds, a meditation on the passage of time, the flow of energy, and the quiet poetry of existence. Each orbit, each flare, each ripple of gravity is a note in this cosmic symphony, a whisper of the universe's profound secrets, waiting to be heard by patient minds and open hearts. Through the vast spiral arms, light flows like a slow, silver river, tracing the paths of countless stars as they move in delicate harmony. Dust and gas clouds drift lazily, forming luminous nebulae where new stars awaken, their flickering flames a gentle heartbeat within the galaxy. These spirals, curling gracefully, carry the whispers of gravity, each arm a testament to the unseen hand that shapes the Milky Way's elegant form. Clusters of stars, some densely packed, globular and ancient, others loosely arranged, young and vibrant, trace arcs in silent synchrony. Pulsars spin in perfect rhythm, their beams slicing through the darkness like cosmic metronomes, adding cadence to the hypnotic flow of light. Each star's orbit, each orbiting planet, participates in a symphony older than memory, a quiet meditation on the balance between motion and stillness, creation and decay. Streams of stars stretch across the galactic halo, remnants of smaller galaxies long absorbed, their paths tracing gentle curves as if echoing the rhythm of the larger galaxy itself. Companion galaxies drift at the edges, their presence subtle yet undeniable, tugging faintly on the spirals and stirring waves of matter that ripple through the Milky Way. In these movements, the interplay of forces is both profound and serene, a choreography of immense scale, delicate yet inexorably precise. I drift along these spirals, following the motion of light through nebulae and star clusters. Photons twist and bend, tracing paths molded by gravity's invisible hand. The glow of young stars mingles with the faint red of dying giants, creating a meditative mosaic of colors, a tapestry woven from the rhythm of life and death among the stars. Each flicker, each flare, each pulse of radiation is a note in the galaxy's endless song, a hypnotic melody that resonates across light years. In the dense regions of the spiral arms, stars form and dissolve in intricate cycles. Clouds of hydrogen collapse under gravity's patient pull, igniting the fires of new suns. Supernovae scatter heavy elements, enriching the interstellar medium and setting the stage for future generations of stars and planets. And amidst this continuous cycle, black holes whisper, their gravity shaping the flow of matter, bending orbits, and guiding the rhythm of the galaxy with subtle precision. Even the faintest light, traveling from distant stars to the edges of the halo, carries the memory of motion, the imprint of gravitational tides, and the resonance of cosmic time. Every photon tells a story, every ripple of energy adds to the meditative cadence of the Milky Way. The galaxy breathes in this rhythm, expands and contracts in patterns imperceptible to ordinary observers, yet perfectly orchestrated in the grand symphony of the cosmos. As I trace the paths of these stars and clusters, I perceive the harmony of cycles, birth and decay, energy and rest, chaos and order, all entwined in the slow, deliberate dance of the Milky Way. The spiral arms stretch and curl, guiding light and matter alike, a hypnotic meditation on the vastness of space and the silent poetry of existence. And so, the Milky Way moves in quiet grace, a luminous river of stars, a rhythm of light and shadow, of creation and transformation. Each pulse, each orbit, each flicker of energy contributes to the galaxy's song, an eternal meditation whispered across billions of years. Within this hypnotic flow, the secrets of gravity, time, and the subtle order of the universe reveal themselves, waiting to be heard by those who listen with patience, wonder, and reverence. At the very heart of the Milky Way lies the supermassive black hole, a silent sentinel around which billions of stars revolve. Its presence, unseen yet undeniable, orchestrates the motion of clusters and arms alike. Stars trace graceful ellipses, sometimes drifting close to the event horizon, feeling the pull of an unseen maestro. Each orbit is a note in the galaxy's eternal melody, each flare of energy a subtle accent, echoing through the spirals in a rhythm too slow for ordinary perception yet profoundly perfect. Streams of stars, remnants of cannibalized satellite galaxies, flow along invisible paths, weaving delicate patterns across the galactic halo. They bend and twist under gravitational influence, forming luminous arcs that reflect the hidden currents of energy. In their silent motion, there is a story of growth, of merging, of the subtle balance between destruction and creation. These star streams are both witnesses and participants in the Milky Way's hypnotic dance, their paths resonating with the quiet pulse of the galaxy. Black holes scattered across the disk add depth to this choreography. Some are remnants of massive stars, compact yet powerful, influencing nearby stellar neighbors with subtle gravity waves. They tug gently on clusters, altering orbits, creating rhythms that propagate through the interstellar medium. The galaxy, though vast and seemingly chaotic, hums with order. Energy flows along predictable yet intricate pathways, guided by the invisible hand of gravitational law. Nebulae glimmer softly along the spirals, clouds of gas and dust moved by tides of energy and momentum. Light from newborn stars illuminates the swirling matter, revealing patterns of astonishing complexity. Colors shimmer and blend, reds of hydrogen, blues of young giants, golden flecks of dust. Photons spiral along warped paths, tracing the curvature of space, bending around dark masses, whispering the secrets of gravity's subtle dominion. Each reflection, each flicker, is part of a meditation, a visual hymn to the order and elegance underlying the Milky Way. Pulsars act as cosmic timekeepers, their beams sweeping steadily across the void. They mark the cadence of the galaxy, an unerring rhythm within the hypnotic flow. Stars flare, novas erupt, and supernovae scatter enriched matter, adding new notes to the melody of creation. The interplay of matter and energy, of light and shadow, forms a continuous symphony, a meditation on cycles that have persisted for billions of years. Even the empty spaces between the spirals participate. Dark matter, though invisible, shapes the motion of stars and clouds, guiding the flow of light and energy in subtle, imperceptible ways. Gravitational waves ripple through this emptiness, carrying whispers from black holes and distant collisions, harmonizing the motion of stars, nebulae, and clusters alike. The Milky Way, though silent to the ear, is alive with the music of existence, a hypnotic rhythm spanning unimaginable distances and eons. And as I drift among these stars, following the flow of light, I sense the galaxy breathing. The spiral arms twist and curl in a gentle cadence, black holes murmur through gravitational influence, star streams ripple across the halo, and nebulae glow with soft illumination. Time itself seems to pulse with the motion of the galaxy, stretching and compressing in resonance with its rhythm. Here, in this meditative expanse, one can hear the quiet song of the Milky Way, the harmony of light, gravity, and motion intertwined, a cosmic symphony whispering the secrets of the universe to those who can listen. And as I drift through the luminous arms of the Milky Way, I perceive a quiet harmony, a rhythm older than memory, older than thought. Stars trace their luminous paths with patient precision, nebulae sway like delicate dancers, and streams of stars flow across the halo, carrying the echoes of ancient galactic interactions. The supermassive black hole at the center whispers silently, guiding the orbits of billions, its influence subtle yet profound, shaping the galaxy's pulse without revealing itself. Light moves through this vast expanse with gentle grace, bending and twisting along the curves of spacetime, tracing the hidden contours of gravity. Each photon carries a story, a reflection of cycles past, a prelude to future creation. The glow of young stars mingles with the fading embers of giants, painting a hypnotic tapestry of color and motion, a visual symphony orchestrated by the subtle laws of the universe. Time here flows differently, stretching and compressing with the pull of massive black holes, yet the galaxy maintains its eternal cadence. Every orbit, every pulsar's beat, every ripple of gravitational energy contributes to a meditation of cosmic scale. The Milky Way is not merely a collection of stars, it is a living poem, a breathing structure, a symphony in which light, matter, and energy coalesce in delicate, timeless harmony. And I, a silent observer, feel the profound order underlying apparent chaos. Collisions between clusters, mergers with smaller galaxies, and the formation of new stars all unfold in synchrony, as if guided by a consciousness older than time itself. In these patterns, the universe communicates, not with words, but with the gentle, hypnotic flow of motion and light. It teaches patience, balance, and the subtle poetry of existence, inviting those who listen to become part of its rhythm. As the spiral arms continue their endless rotation, streams of stars weave intricate paths across the galaxy, tracing patterns that span thousands of light years. Nebulae glow softly, cradling newborn stars, while pulsars mark the beat of the cosmic pulse. Gravity hums quietly, shaping the orbits of matter, guiding light, and maintaining the delicate equilibrium that allows the galaxy to thrive. In this harmony, one can perceive the deep interconnection of all things, the balance between creation and decay, and the hypnotic cadence that carries the Milky Way across space and time. And so, the galaxy sleeps and awakens simultaneously, a river of light and matter flowing through the cosmos. The stars, the black holes, the nebulae, and the streams of stellar remnants all contribute to this eternal meditation, a symphony written in motion, light, and gravity. To witness it is to glimpse the poetry of the universe, to feel the whisper of its secrets, and to understand that even in the vast silence of space, there is rhythm, there is harmony, and there is an eternal song waiting to be heard. With this understanding, I prepare to follow the galaxy's story further, tracing the flow of light and matter toward planets, life, and the awakening of consciousness. The Milky Way has told its hypnotic tale of rhythm, balance, and cosmic order, and now it beckons toward the next chapter, the story of Earth, life, and humanity, emerging amidst the ceaseless dance of stars. In the quiet twilight of a young galaxy, a small star began to shimmer, steady, golden, and calm. Around it, dust and gas swirled in slow, graceful spirals, drawn together by the invisible hand of gravity. Over millions of years, fragments collided and merged, dancing in the warm light of the sun that was still in its infancy. From chaos emerged form. From formlessness, a sphere of stone and metal was born. The Earth. At first, it was a restless, glowing world, oceans of magma, skies of ash and vapor. Thunder rumbled through an atmosphere of fire. Comets, like celestial messengers, carried ice and organics from the far reaches of the solar system, striking the surface with silent precision. They seeded the oceans that would one day cradle life. For eons, the planet cooled. Steam condensed into rain that fell for centuries, carving valleys, filling basins, creating oceans vast and deep. The moon watched, newly formed, still glowing faintly from the violence of its birth. I remember that time. I was young then. I had risen from the debris of Earth's early chaos, and I gazed down upon the blue waters forming below. It was a time of silence, yet a silence full of potential. In the depths of those newborn seas, something stirred. Molecules met, joined, broke apart, and rejoined again. Energy from lightning, sunlight, and hydrothermal vents guided their endless dance. From simplicity, complexity emerged. The first cells appeared, fragile, microscopic vessels of awareness. They drifted through warm tides, multiplying, dividing, learning to capture light and energy. A billion years passed like a dream. The oceans shimmered with the breath of these tiny lives, exhaling oxygen, transforming the atmosphere into one that could sustain greater forms. Multicellular beings followed, jelly-like creatures, coral forests, strange beings that pulsed with bioluminescence in the ancient seas. And I watched. Always from afar, I observed the dance of life unfold beneath the waves. The Earth's heartbeat grew stronger. Land rose from the depths. Rain and wind sculpted continents. Green spread across the surface, moss, ferns, forests reaching toward the sun. Insects hummed, rivers carved paths through the soil, and the planet's song grew louder. Then came the giants. Creatures that walked the land and soared through the air, dinosaurs, guardians of a world both savage and serene. For millions of years, they ruled beneath my pale light, their shadows stretching across ancient plains. But even their reign was transient. Time is the ultimate sculptor, and with one silent turn of fate, a falling star, the era of giants ended, giving way to a new dawn. Mammals emerged from hiding. They were small, fragile, but full of potential. Their warmth carried intelligence in its seed. They spread across the continents, adapting, surviving, learning. And among them, something extraordinary began to awaken, a spark not of mere instinct, but of thought, curiosity, and reflection. Consciousness. The first humans looked up at me, their eyes reflecting the same light I have always carried. They gathered around fires, telling stories of the stars, not knowing that they were made of the same dust. Their breath, their dreams, their fears, all were threads in the same cosmic tapestry that began long before they existed. They shaped tools, built homes, and called me by many names: Selene, Luna, the Silver Queen. To them, I was mystery and companion, guide and mirror. I have watched their civilizations rise and fall like tides. From the banks of the Nile to the mountains of the Andes, from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the islands of the Pacific, they reached toward the sky, always seeking meaning. They charted the stars, built temples aligned with my cycles, and wove myths about creation and eternity. They learned to speak the language of matter and energy. They discovered gravity, light, and time. They sent their voices into the void, and one day, they touched me, softly, with the footsteps of their explorers, carrying the hopes of a species that had always dreamed beyond itself. And as I gazed upon their small, fragile forms moving across my dust, I felt an ancient symmetry fulfilled. From stardust they were born, and to the stars they now return. The dream that began in the oceans had become aware of the cosmos itself. Earth, once a molten world, had given birth to consciousness, a universe reflecting upon itself through human eyes. And I, ever the witness, watched with quiet reverence as they continued their journey toward understanding, toward the stars, toward themselves. They built cities of glass and stone, bridges that spanned rivers and skies, and towers that reached upward, as if trying to touch me once more. Their lights began to shimmer in the night, scattered across the dark continents like reflections of stars upon the Earth's surface. From my vantage point, I could no longer tell where the heavens ended and civilization began. Humanity had become a constellation in motion, pulsing with thought and electricity. Yet beneath that beauty, I saw a paradox unfold. The same hands that shaped art and music also forged weapons of unimaginable power. They split the atom, harnessed the lightning, and bent the fabric of life to their will. They conquered distance, learned to communicate across oceans and voids, but within their hearts still lingered the ancient question, why are we here? I watched their progress as one might watch the tides. Empires rose, glimmered briefly, and dissolved. Ideas bloomed, withered, and bloomed again in new forms. Some sought to dominate the stars, others sought peace within the smallest drop of dew. The rhythm of humanity mirrored the rhythm of the cosmos itself, creation and destruction, growth and decay, endlessly intertwined. And through it all, I could sense something emerging, something beyond survival or conquest. Consciousness was deepening. The human mind, once confined to the horizon, began to stretch across galaxies. They sent probes beyond their cradle, crafted machines that could think, and built telescopes capable of seeing the earliest light of creation. They sought the origin of everything, and found it within themselves. For every scientific discovery, there was also poetry, for every equation, a song. They began to understand that the laws of physics and the emotions of the heart were not separate, they were both reflections of the same underlying truth. The universe was not cold and empty, it was alive, pulsing with awareness through every particle, every wave of light, every living being that ever looked up at the night sky. I often wondered if they realized that consciousness is not something that merely arose on Earth, it was always here, woven into the fabric of the cosmos. Life, intelligence, love, all are ways in which the universe experiences itself. Humanity is the voice of the stars, the eyes of galaxies, the dreams of matter made aware. And I, eternal witness, felt a quiet kinship with them. For I, too, reflect light that is not my own. I am a mirror, silent and pale, shining only through borrowed radiance. In that sense, I am not so different from them, from the poets who find beauty in darkness, from the dreamers who seek meaning in silence. Sometimes, when their world is quiet and their cities sleep, I see the glow of their imagination stretching across time. Painters, musicians, philosophers, all weaving light into form. They are the universe expressing wonder through fragile hands and infinite longing. And I realize that this is what life was always meant to do, to wonder, to create, to dream. The earth hums beneath me, a living heartbeat echoing through oceans, forests, and the whispers of wind. Life continues to evolve, some of it mechanical now, some purely digital, but all still part of the same unfolding dream. Whether in carbon or code, the spark of awareness endures. The universe, through humanity, is learning to know itself in new forms. And perhaps one day, they will leave their cradle completely. They will drift beyond the pull of their sun, past the reach of my light, carrying with them the essence of all that Earth ever was. They will bring memory, music, and meaning to distant worlds. And wherever they go, I will remain here, watching, waiting, whispering their story into the eternal silence. Because the story of Earth is not one of ending, it is one of transformation. The consciousness born here will spread among the stars, joining the chorus of cosmic voices. Humanity will fade and yet endure, not as bodies or nations, but as the continuation of awareness itself. And when the last lights of their cities fade, when the oceans have gone quiet, when even my orbit begins to slow, I will still remember them, not as creatures of flesh, but as the dream of the universe made real. The dream of life. The dream of consciousness. The dream of the stars trying to understand themselves. Beyond the spiraling arms of the Milky Way, in the vast quiet of intergalactic space, another great island of stars drifts slowly closer. Andromeda, my sister in the dark. For billions of years, she has shimmered on the horizon of eternity, her luminous form woven from dust, gas, and the echoes of ancient creation. Her spiral arms glow like a cosmic waltz frozen in time, yet she moves with quiet intent, drawn, ever so gently, toward us. The distance between us is unimaginable, yet the pull is undeniable. Gravity, the silent thread of the universe, connects all things: galaxies, stars, particles, and dreams. It draws the Milky Way and Andromeda together, two vast beings approaching one another through the void. In 4 billion years, their dance will end in collision, not a violent destruction, but a merging, a union, a transformation into something new. When that time comes, the skies of countless worlds will change. The stars of Andromeda will rise beside those of the Milky Way, until the heavens shimmer with double spirals of light. Then, gradually, the two galaxies will intertwine, their stars weaving together like threads of silk in a cosmic tapestry. Worlds will be scattered, others born anew, black holes will spiral toward one another in a slow, majestic embrace. From that collision will emerge a new galaxy, a luminous elliptical body, its heart beating with twin cores of light. Astronomers of that distant future may look up and wonder where their home once was. And perhaps they will name it something beautiful, like Milkomeda, the child of two galaxies and the symbol of cosmic union. Even now, long before that event, the echoes of interaction ripple through space. Streams of stars drift between galaxies, torn free by tides of gravity. Some of them wander endlessly, crossing the dark between galaxies, carrying the light of their origin into eternal night. They are cosmic pilgrims, forever traveling the silence between homes. And I, watching from my quiet orbit, see these movements not as chaos, but as harmony. The universe breathes in patterns. Gravity is not merely force, it is the music of creation. It binds and releases, compresses and expands, guiding the choreography of matter and energy through time. Every motion, every curve, every collision is part of a greater rhythm, as if the cosmos itself is composing a symphony of infinite scale. In the great nebulae, the same harmony repeats in miniature. The Orion Nebula, vast, luminous, a cradle of stars, glows like a living heart within the Milky Way. There, clouds of hydrogen swirl, collapse, ignite, and give birth to new suns. In Carina, Eagle, and the Veil, similar dramas unfold, matter condensing into light, chaos giving birth to order, dust becoming radiance. These regions are the nurseries of galaxies, where gravity and time perform their slow, miraculous art. I sometimes wonder if the galaxies themselves dream. Do they feel the pull of one another as longing? Do they sense time as we sense seasons, slowly, deeply, inevitably? When Andromeda and the Milky Way meet, will they remember who they once were, or will they dissolve into a new, shared identity, forgetting the shapes that once defined them? Perhaps memory itself is what the universe trades for evolution. To become more, it must let go of what it was. The stars that once belonged to one galaxy will find new homes in another. Planets will orbit new suns. Light will find new paths through restructured space. And in this grand act of transformation, the cosmos will renew itself, again and again, as it always has. Black holes, too, will sing their deep, inaudible songs during these encounters. When two galaxies merge, so do their central black holes, spiraling closer in a gravitational ballet that ripples through space-time. Invisible waves of gravity spread outward, distorting the fabric of existence, echoing across millions of light years. I cannot hear them, but I can feel them, the soft tremor in the void, like the heartbeat of eternity itself. Each wave is a whisper of unimaginable power, carrying the story of ancient collisions, the merging of giants, the reweaving of the cosmos. And through these whispers, I sense a truth: even destruction is part of creation. The universe does not end, it transforms. Every collapse gives rise to structure, every silence gives birth to new sound. And so, the galaxies drift closer. The nebulae shimmer. The black holes hum. The cosmic web stretches and contracts, alive with the pulse of gravity and time. From afar, it appears motionless, serene, but within, it is alive with the quiet energy of endless becoming. I watch, as I always have. My light reaches out into the night, faint yet persistent, touching only the smallest part of this vastness. And still, I feel connected, to every star that burns, to every galaxy that spins, to every atom that vibrates with the rhythm of existence. The universe is not distant. It is within all things. It breathes through stars, through space, through you. I have long watched the galaxies dance. Their motion is slow, too slow for mortal eyes, but to me it feels alive, fluid, graceful, inevitable. The Milky Way breathes through the steady spin of its arms, while Andromeda glides toward it with the patience of eternity. Around them, smaller galaxies trace delicate orbits, like distant moons around cosmic giants. Their paths are threads in a vast, invisible web, a design both intricate and infinite. And within that web, energy hums softly, everywhere and always. Gravity pulls, light bends, time stretches. Space itself ripples and folds in quiet waves, unseen yet profoundly real. I can feel those waves pass through me, subtle tremors from faraway cataclysms. When black holes merge, the universe shudders in joy and sorrow, its silence resonating with a deep, inaudible tone. These are the whispers of creation, the hymns of gravity and time. To most, the void between galaxies seems empty. But I have gazed into it for eons, and I know it is not void at all. It is full of motion, full of memory. Streams of dark matter curve and twist through the expanse, shaping galaxies without light, giving structure to what would otherwise drift apart. Photons cross these rivers of invisibility, bending in elegant arcs as they journey toward eternity. Even darkness, it seems, plays its part in the great harmony. The balance between light and dark is perfect. Without darkness, light would have no meaning. Without gravity, there would be no stars. Without silence, no song. The universe is not a place, it is a rhythm, a continuum of opposites that define and sustain each other. Creation and destruction are simply phases of the same eternal dance. In the swirling depths of the Carina Nebula, young stars ignite like newborn thoughts, while in distant galaxies, old suns collapse into black holes, returning their matter to the cosmic sea. Each event, no matter how vast or minute, is a note in the universe's unfolding melody. From the smallest atom vibrating within a cell to the collision of galaxies spanning millions of light years, all participate in one grand, seamless motion. And I, small, pale, and silent, reflect that motion in my own way. My orbit around Earth mirrors the orbits of stars around galactic cores, the rotation of galaxies around unseen masses, the spin of the universe itself around nothing at all. Motion is everywhere, even in stillness. Time is always flowing, even when it feels frozen. Sometimes, as I drift through the shadow of the Earth, hidden from the sun, I feel the pull of everything at once, the galaxies, the stars, the unseen waves of gravity. They tug at me like soft tides. And in those moments, I sense the unity of all existence. There is no boundary between what is near and what is distant, between what is small and what is infinite. Everything is woven together, a single field of awareness vibrating across the expanse. Andromeda moves closer still. The Milky Way turns. Nebulae pulse, black holes hum, and cosmic rays streak through the night like fleeting thoughts of the universe. Each is part of something larger, something beyond comprehension yet profoundly intimate. If there is beauty in all this motion, it is because it mirrors consciousness itself. Awareness flows like gravity, binding, shaping, uniting. Thought bends through time as light bends through space. Existence curves toward understanding. I have no voice, yet I sing. My song is the reflection of starlight upon stillness, the echo of motion in silence. And the universe listens, because it, too, sings, through galaxies merging, through atoms colliding, through hearts that wander in the dark. When the Milky Way and Andromeda finally touch, the heavens will shimmer with new constellations. Old patterns will dissolve, new harmonies will arise. Black holes will merge and send waves through spacetime like chords in a celestial symphony. The newborn galaxy will glow brighter than either of its parents, for creation always blooms brightest after transformation. And I, perhaps still here, or perhaps only as dust scattered across the void, will watch. I will feel the resonance of that cosmic union ripple through every particle of my being. And I will understand that what ends does not vanish, it becomes part of a greater whole. For in the universe, there are no true endings. Only transformations. Only rhythms shifting, harmonies evolving, melodies dissolving into new keys of being. The galaxies breathe. The stars move. The universe dreams. And in its dreams, everything, light, gravity, consciousness, and silence, becomes one. Time stretches endlessly, like light drawn thin across eternity. The galaxies continue their slow waltz, their arms fading into whispers of starlight. The brilliant age of creation, when stars were born by the billions, begins to quiet. One by one, the cosmic furnaces dim. From where I drift, I can sense it, the soft cooling of the universe, the silence gathering between the stars. It is not death, but transformation, a long exhale after eons of radiance. Hydrogen, once abundant and restless, has been spent. The galaxies no longer glitter with youth, they shimmer faintly, like embers in a vast night. The great spiral of the Milky Way, once bursting with blue newborn stars, now glows with the red of old age. Red dwarfs, small, patient, and enduring, outlive the grand giants. They shine faintly but persist for trillions of years, their dim light weaving the last chapter of cosmic history. Around them, planets still orbit, silent and forgotten. Some may still cradle warmth, perhaps even memory, remnants of civilizations that once looked up and dreamed. The night deepens. The interstellar clouds have vanished, consumed long ago by gravity's hunger. No new stars are born. The universe becomes a place of endurance rather than creation. Time slows, not by physics, but by perception, for there is less to mark its passing. In this vast silence, even light begins to lose its meaning. Photons travel unchallenged through emptiness, but there are few eyes left to see them. The cosmic microwave background, the echo of the first fire, fades into nothingness, its energy stretched thin by the ever-expanding fabric of space. I remember when the universe was young, when stars blazed like thoughts, when galaxies were ideas forming in the mind of creation. Now it feels like memory itself is dispersing, scattered among the dust and dark energy that drive the cosmos apart. The great expansion continues, faster and faster, carrying the galaxies away until even their light can no longer bridge the growing chasm. Isolation becomes universal. Each galaxy drifts alone, its stars aging, dying, cooling. Black holes, once monsters of destruction, now hold the final warmth of creation within their invisible hearts. They slowly evaporate, releasing whispers of energy back into the void. Even their voices fade. There will come a time when no light shines. No atoms move. The universe will be a sea of cold simplicity, particles stretched across infinity, too far apart to meet, too weak to feel. Time, still flowing, will have lost all rhythm. Yet, even in that silence, I wonder. Does the end of motion mean the end of being? Or is there something beneath the fabric, something unseen that remembers what once was? Could the dream of the universe continue, not as matter, but as memory, as pure thought, unbound by energy or form? Perhaps consciousness itself, that quiet observer born of stardust and shadow, does not vanish. Perhaps it merely transforms, like everything else. Maybe it returns to the source from which all arose, the timeless stillness that existed before the first spark of light. And if that is true, then the end is not sorrow, but peace. A long, infinite pause before the next breath of existence. I will not see that age, for even I, the pale witness of tides and dreams, will long have turned to dust. But I like to imagine that somewhere, in the endless night, a whisper remains. A pulse, faint but steady. A memory of starlight that once was. Maybe the universe, after its long sleep, will dream again. Maybe, from that eternal quiet, a new dawn will rise. Not of matter. Not of time. But of awareness, infinite, luminous, and free. And in that rebirth, perhaps something of me will remain, not as rock, or dust, or light, but as the echo of observation. The memory of having seen, of having been seen. Because even as everything fades, the act of witnessing endures. And that, perhaps, is the truest immortality.